Hi guys, thank you for clicking on this video. My name's Aisha and this is aishaleeanntalks. So today's video is going to be about a story that's going through the news right now. It might be a little bit of a controversial one, but I really could not resist going down the rabbit hole on this one. So a 69-year-old former adult star named Ron Jeremy Hyatt has been accused of the rape and sexual abuse of over 30 women, and he is expected to be deemed unfit to stand trial due to dementia, which is, as I say, quite controversial at the moment. So there have been multiple people come forward to recount their tales of abuse, and some of the charges that are being brought forward include forced oral copulation, sex with somebody who is unconscious, and lewd acts on a minor.
The grand jury indictment unsealed today charges him with rape and other charges involving 21 alleged victims. Prosecutors say the alleged victims range in age from 15 to 51 over a 23-year span.
I have found a few of the first-hand accounts, and if you want to stick around to the end of the video, I will tell you them. But to begin with, I'm just going to start off by telling you a little bit about Ron and his life and how he got to where he is right now, you know, in jail, being charged with multiple rapes. So Ron Jeremy Hyatt was born on the 12th of March 1953 in Long Island, New York. His parents were both Jewish and he practiced Judaism. Sorry, there are some words I struggle to say and that is one of them. But he struggled Judaism for his entire life. His father, whose name was Arnold, he was a physicist and a professor at Queens College, New York. His mother, whose name we don't actually know, is said to be a writer, and she served in the OSS, which is the Office of Strategic Services, during World War II, and she could speak fluent German and fluent French. Ron went to Benjamin N. Cardozo High School, and he also managed to graduate with a master's from Queens College. He then actually became a special education teacher, but then he moved on from that to go and pursue a career in acting. In 1978, his girlfriend at the time sent a photograph of him to a Playgirl magazine. It was from this appearance in the magazine that got him quite a few interviews to go on to do other kind of stuff. That's how he ended up becoming an adult film star.
People saw me in that and they called me on the phone and said, "Why don't you do an adult movie?" I said, "It strikes me as kind of sleazy." And I realized, well, I'm kind of sleazy, why not? So I did it, and it was actually not so bad.
His popularity seemed to grow exponentially, and it wasn't very long before he was actually doing quite a few films every week. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm sorry, but if you look at this man, he's not something that's pleasant to look at. I'm sorry if you disagree with me, but like seriously, I really do not think this guy is anything special. Apparently, the reason why he was such a success is because he had such a long member and that he could keep it up, basically. And you know, in that industry, if you can't keep it up, you're going bye-byes. So that's the main reason why apparently he was, yeah, so popular. But yeah, again, I can't see it. I just can't see it. Like, I would not want to watch that, I'm sorry. Ron has gone on to do over 800 adult movies, and he's got the Guinness World Record for the most appearances in adult films. He's also one of the very few adult, you know, let's just say it, porn stars to actually go on and star in, you know, Hollywood movies as well. He starred in the Reindeer Games in 2000, in Detroit Rock City in 1999, and the Boondock Saints in 1999. Ron has not only been in front of the camera, but he's actually been behind the camera too. He has produced, he's directed, and he's actually wrote various films himself. Another thing that Ron has done is gone and opened a swingers club in Oregon, which got closed down in 2015. In 2013, so 2 years before this, he had an aneurysm found near his heart, had to go in for surgery and was released. That's all the medical history that I can really find. It's been said that he's been in multiple relationships. There have been rumours going around that he has assaulted some of his exes, but none of them have actually been confirmed, so this is just like rumours and speculation. In 2018, more charges were brought brought against him, but ultimately these charges ended up being dropped. In June of 2020, he was initially charged with the sexual abuse of 4 women. When this came out, loads more women began to come forward and allege abuse against them too. The following year, in 2021, he was charged with over 30 counts of sexual assault involving 21 women aged between 15 and 51. Some of these allegations have dated back to 1996. So this has been going on for quite a long time, I'd say. Ron has now been charged with 12 counts of forcible rape, 7 counts of forced oral copulation, 6 counts of sexual battery by restraint, 4 counts of forced sexual penetration with a foreign object, 2 counts of sexual penetration of an asleep or unconscious person, and 1 count of committing a lewd act on a minor. 14 other cases were not pursued because they were outside the statute of limitations. Now, I'm sorry, but that is one hell of a rap sheet. That is, just even looking at the charges alone, that is horrific. That is genuinely horrific. So, knowing that rap sheet, it is up to you if you want to continue watching this video. But I have found a couple of the accusations to share with you. A woman named Charity Carson Hogg, who is 40 or was 47 years old at the time, has come forward to say in May of 2020, Ron pushed her up against a bathroom wall, grabbed hold of her breasts, and tried to force her to touch his penis. Charity had been very close friends with Ron since 1996. But she reported him to the police, as she should, and that is actually what started this whole investigation. She also went on to sue the ex-porn star for an undisclosed amount, but it's said that it's believed to be over £1 million. They then went and settled that in court. She actually revealed that in the days after the assault that the police had asked her to call him and basically bait him into speaking, which she did. She said, "I never wanted to speak to him again. I was deleting him from my life, but I did wind up calling Ron with the detective on the other line. He admitted to it and started laughing, which made me even more angry. I started cursing at him. He was just laughing like it wasn't a big deal to him, saying, 'You know you wanted it.' Ron asked me, 'Charity, come here. I want to show you something.' I didn't even think anything of it because we've always been friends and I'd always trusted him. I went to the bathroom. That's when he slammed the door and pinned me up against the wall, got really aggressive with me. The 5 to 7 minutes that I was struggling in the bathroom with him, I felt powerless," she said. "He tried with all of his power to rape me that day. If it wasn't for me being so flexible, I wouldn't have got away." She said that when she had left that bathroom, she was confused, she was shocked, and now she was fearful for her friend who Ron had now set his eyes on after Charity had rejected him. Another one of Ron's accusers, who is the 15-year-old girl, says that he forcibly penetrated her with his finger during a rave. In June of 2004, they were together at a rave called Almost Better Than Sex. Despite knowing that she was underage, Ron's assistant kept giving her vodka cranberries, and she'd also taken half an ecstasy pill. According to her testimony, Ron asked her to go backstage and asked her if she wanted to see something cool. He then picked her up, swung her around, and put his finger inside of her. When recounting this, she said, "I was just shocked and frozen pretty much. It all happened so fast. He's a lot stronger and bigger than me." Other victims include a 19-year-old that claims that Ron raped her during a photo shoot, a 26-year-old who alleges that Ron raped her in a nightclub, and another woman who claims that he assaulted her in his home. The most in-depth account that I have found is that of a woman named Jennifer Steele. She said that she will never fucking forget the night that Ron raped her. She even said that she was fearful for her life and wondered if he was going to kill her. Jennifer claimed that she had been introduced to Ron by her manager in an attempt to further her career and, boost her into the adult film industry. Jennifer then first met with Ron in a nightclub called Star Cabaret in December of 1997. So he then offers her if she wants to come and stay at his house in Los Angeles, to which she agrees. But she did make it very, very clear to him that sex was not going to be a part of this deal. Jennifer claims that following this, they were a no-contact shoot at Hustler's studio. When Ron pulled her into the bathroom, he claimed that he was having trouble getting an erection. He asked if she would bend over so that he could get a visual fluff to try and help him get aroused. Now, reluctantly, Jennifer agrees to this under the understanding that he was not going to touch her, he was just going to look at her. Jennifer then explained that when she did turn around and bend over, that Ron completely violated her trust and entered her. She very quickly pushed herself away, and she says that later on that day, Ron managed to actually convince her that it was all a misunderstanding and that nothing like that would ever happen again. And somehow he still managed to convince her to go back and spend the night at her house again, which would turn out to be quite a big mistake, because it turns out that he would then go on to sexually assault her there too. She said, "He roused me from my sleep to coerce me into letting him give me oral sex with the promise that he would leave me alone afterwards. He said that I should appreciate everything he was doing for me." Now that sounds like some serious manipulation right there. Jennifer went on to explain that when she refused, he then proceeded to rape her in her mouth, her vagina, and anally. This has left her with long-lasting trauma, both mental and physical. She alleges that Ron only stopped when he saw that she was crying and bleeding. She said, "There were some moments where I wondered if he was going to kill me, because how would a celebrity get away with doing this to people if I remained alive? He stopped only when he saw blood and tears. At that point, I was relieved I would live." That must have been so terrifying for her, like, literally fearing for your life. She claims that she hadn't come forward before because she thought it would just be seen as a joke, because societal and cultural norms were kind of different back then. She also alleges that she had spoken to a police officer around the time of the attack and asked if she had enough evidence to actually press charges, and he told her that based on the fact that she was a sex worker, it wouldn't even be worth her time. She was only finally taken seriously and actually interviewed in 2020. This is 2 decades after the incident allegedly happened. She also added, "I'm glad that he's locked up. It's a big deal that it actually came to light that he was doing this, because for a long time people just turned their backs on me. I myself have been sexually abused, physically abused. I've been on the receiving end of things similar to this. So I know how it feels for people to turn their back on you in that situation, and it really does leave you feeling like you're so alone." So for 20 years, this woman has been living with this and dealing with it by herself. Nobody, I've said this in a video before, like, nobody should deal with trauma by themselves. Nobody should feel like they shouldn't come forward. Like, it just shouldn't be that way. So Ron went on to plead not guilty to his charges and was kept on a $6 million bail. His defense team filed a motion to try and get 21 separate trials for the 21 separate victims, because they feel like if they keep all of the victims in one trial, that will sway the jury unfairly. So they want 21 separate trials for all the 21 separate victims. So he managed to comprehend all of this and work out that he wanted 21 trials for 21 different victims. Sorry, being a little bit biased here, but In March of 2022, Ron's trial was suspended after questions were raised about his mental health after he failed to recognize his lawyer. The judge then, suspended the trial and ordered for him to have a psychiatric evaluation. Mental health experts called on by both the prosecutors and by his own legal team have both done their assessments now, and they have determined that he has severe dementia and that his condition is genuine. They say that he may still have to go to trial if his condition improves, but dementia only really accelerates, it doesn't improve. So the prognosis apparently is not good. If he does not improve, which he's not likely to, then the court will not be able to try him for his crimes for as long as he is incompetent. The prosecutors will also not be able to push him for a guilty plea or get any kind of justice for any of the victims in this case if, you know, he is deemed incompetent, which he has been. Ultimately, he will probably end up being sent to live out the rest of his days in a mental health facility, which will be run by the state. Now, this case got to me on a few levels because, like, I've seen how dementia actually affects the brain, but I've also been on the receiving end of sexual abuse and quite serious sexual assaults, and, you know, I can see both sides here. This is why I say it's probably going to be a little bit controversial, because, like, I've also seen a lot of things that, like, a lot of comments, a lot of things online where people say Ron's not guilty, you know, free Ron, all this sort of stuff. There's a whole thing going on. Like, a lot of people think that he's guilty, others think that he is not. And yeah, I think personally that if he was competent enough to put in a not guilty and competent enough to be able to actually think about having the 21 trials, that he should be competent enough to stand trial. But then I'm not a medical professional. The whole fact that he's got dementia, I mean, is it really a get out of jail free card? This is what a lot of people are saying. It's like he's getting a get out of jail free card. He's playing the dementia card, you know. Then there's other people that say that don't even think that he's guilty. So it's a really sticky one because no one's ever really going to know the truth. So I'm not entirely sure how I feel about this one. I mean, obviously, like, the whole story is horrific and the accounts are really horrendous. It seems like he's used his celebrity status and his status in the industry, you know, and abused that power to abuse women. And it went on for a very, very, very long time. So yeah, is he getting away with his crimes? I don't know. There's just so many unanswered questions, which, you know, if he's deemed incompetent to stand trial and never does, those questions will never get answered and the victims will never get justice. And that's why I feel so strongly about this case. As I say, I only found it popped up on my phone last week and I ended up on a rabbit hole and researching everything and yeah. Oh, I don't know. It's a really fucked up one, this one. But yeah, we'll leave it there. We'll leave it there, shall we? So if you are new and you don't know what I do here, I tell hardship stories. I tell celebrity stories. I tell everyday people stories. I tell any kind of hardship story. So if you enjoyed this video and want to see more content like this, please like and subscribe. It is a free and easy way that you can support this channel. And until next time, please remember to look after yourselves and be kind to everybody around you, because you never know what somebody else might be going through, and a little bit of kindness and compassion can go a long way. Bye bye for now.